Hey everyone, today we're diving into a really powerful psychological bias, one that makes us hold on tight to things we should probably just let go of. And while it affects pretty much everyone, for investors, this hidden cost of ownership can be seriously damaging to your portfolio. Come on, you have one, right? Maybe it's that super comfortable but faded t-shirt or that old guitar collecting dust in the corner. It might not be worth much to anyone else, but to you, it feels special, maybe even priceless. Now, that warm, fuzzy feeling of attachment, that's totally normal. It's human. But what happens when that same feeling sneaks into your financial decisions? Well, that's when it can become this surprisingly destructive force, quietly costing you real money without you even noticing. So let's start by digging into this whole attachment thing. We'll use a really simple everyday example to see how it works. Let's call it the tattered shirt problem. Rationally, you know its place is in the trash can. It's got holes, the color's faded, it's definitely seen better days. But emotionally? Oh, that's a different story. It feels irreplaceable because of all the memories tied to it. So it turns out, this feeling isn't just some personal quirk you have. Nope, it's actually a well-documented cognitive bias, and it has a name. And just understanding what it is, that's the first step to beating it. It's called the endowment effect, and the idea is actually pretty simple. We tend to think something is worth more just because it's ours. It has nothing to do with the object's actual value, but about the value our ownership adds in our own minds. It's closely related to another bias called loss aversion. Basically, the pain of losing something feels way, way stronger than the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. And get this, researchers proved this effect in a really clever and simple experiment. They didn't need any high-tech gadgets or anything, just a bunch of ordinary coffee mugs. Okay, so here's what they did. They split people into two groups. Group A was given a free mug. Then they were asked, what's the lowest price you'd sell it for? Group B, on the other hand, didn't get a mug. They were just asked, what's the highest price you'd pay for that same mug? The results were staggering. The owners in Group A, on average, wanted twice as much money as the buyers in Group B were willing to pay. The only thing that changed its value, the simple fact of ownership. That's it. All right, so a tattered shirt, a coffee mug, you might be thinking, what does any of this have to do with my investment portfolio? Well, as it turns out, everything. This is where the endowment effect stops being a fun little quirk and can become truly disastrous. Let's play out a really common scenario. You do your homework, you like a company, and you buy its stock. But then things change. Maybe a tough new competitor enters the market, or the company makes a few bad moves. The business just isn't as strong as it was, and the stock price starts to drop. So, let's say you bought that stock at $100 a share. Now, based on the new reality of the business, it's trading at $70. That's a real loss on paper. Your rational brain sees those numbers, but your emotional brain, well, it's about to kick into high gear. This is when that little voice in your head, the one fueled by the endowment effect, starts whispering justifications. It says things like, but I own this stock. It was worth $100 before, so it's got to get back there again. We get so attached to that original price we paid, and selling for less feels like admitting we made a mistake. But here is the cold, hard truth. The market doesn't care. It has no idea who you are, it doesn't know what price you paid for your shares, and it certainly doesn't care about your feelings. The market only values a business based on what it's worth today and what it might be worth in the future. So, knowing this bias exists is a great first step. But how do you actually fight it in the real world? The good news is, there are ways. So let's get practical and walk through 5 strategies to help you make smarter, more objective decisions. Think of these 5 steps as your toolkit for clear-headed thinking. We'll start with asking one powerful question to totally reframe your mindset. Then, we'll learn to forget about the price you paid. That's ancient history. Next, you'll try to see your investment from an outsider's perspective. After that, we'll talk about setting exit rules before things get emotional. And finally, the value of finding someone to challenge your own thinking. Okay, let's just pause on that first point, because if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. You have to ask yourself honestly. Knowing everything I know right now, if my money was sitting in cash instead of this stock, would I use that cash to buy this exact stock today? If your answer is anything but a confident yes, then it's probably time to consider selling. So really, all of these strategies are building toward one major goal, the holy grail for any serious investor, being able to make decisions with total clarity, free from all that emotional baggage. And here's the bottom line.
The one sentence you should write down. Just because you own a bad stock, that doesn't magically make it a good one. Your ownership is completely irrelevant to how it's going to perform tomorrow. At the end of the day, success in investing really comes down to this: the ability to let go when you need to. It's about seeing things for what they actually are, not what you wish they were. And that right there is the difference between being a wise investor and just a stubborn one.
So, I'll leave you with a little bit of homework. Take a good, honest look at your investments. Which one is your tattered shirt? You know, the one you're holding on to for purely emotional reasons, even when deep down you know it's time to let it go.